Hello once again, folks. Brian here, Geomagnetic Earthwatch on Tuesday, February 28, 2023 on our planet. Hope you're all well. I hope you're finding my information, my video, my contents helpful and useful to you. Judging from the feedback I've been getting from people from around the world, you do. Excuse me. However, I'm about to lose some subscribers because I'm going to be hurting some feelings, not everybody's. So I want to talk to you today about some people are full of contradictions and conjectures, and especially despite demonstrating or presenting to you and stating they are a Christian, seizing every opportunity to steer away from, deny, and deflect from the doings of the Almighty. And I've seen many, many examples. On one particular YouTuber I find highly suspicious. Now, the Antichrist isn't here yet. However, his influence is here and is very strong. And that influence is steering people away from him in denial that he has anything to do with what's been happening since the creation. Now, being adamant without providing any substance, no clarification to someone's claim, and only that his whole high and mighty ego is good enough and you have to listen and believe him. In a sense, that's being a false prophet, to steer you away from the Almighty. And this is what catches my attention the most. Now, all these lead me to believe that he is perhaps here for reasons other than what he reports on. He's just part of the distraction. Now, aside from being an internet bully, self-imposed icon, arrogant ego, treating some people like a piece of shit that he does, and presents himself as a Christian, but he discredits God. Now, some people claim that Mr. Ben Davidson, a suspicious observer, is working for one of the alphabet agencies, whatever, CIA, whatever. I never did pay too much attention to that. Maybe he's working for somebody else. Who knows, right? And I've never given much thought until very recently, the past few months, when I've been seeing a lot of contradiction. And before, he always left him in the back seat locked up, never brought him to the forefront. Whereas me, on the opposite end of the spectrum, my awakening was first spiritual, and I went and sought out, not that I had to, but I wanted to see the signs of the symptoms of us going into a period of tribulation and the earth changes. Now, I'm going to give you a number of examples which strikes me as suspicious. First, Ben Davidson stated on the video maybe about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, that the ills and sins of society are by the influence of cosmic rays alone. I happen to believe that it's the influence of him, and even though he has not yet risen from the sea of the people, his influence is here and very strong. The stage is being prepared. I do not believe that the sins of society are caused alone by cosmic rays. Next, on January 15th, Mr. Ben Davidson stated on a Facebook posting, quote, "We are in the age of the Antichrist," end quote. Later on that day, on one of his videos, he stated, "I happen to not believe in Satan." Contradiction. Which one is it? We are in the age of the Antichrist, but I happen to not believe in Satan? two statements on the same day. I will continue. He did an interview with someone called Kate, whoever he is. I have no idea who he is. It's a guy full of tattoos. You know, God said in the Old Testament that's not allowed, right? Anyway, whatever. They were discussing events of the biblical times where 158,000 Roman soldiers were struck down by the hand of God. But no, according to Mr. Ben Davidson, it was because they were wearing chest armor made of metal, and that acted as a conductor for a lightning strike, deflecting away from him, and science alone was responsible. Every opportunity he has to deflect away from the Almighty Creator, in denial of him. On his video today, someone asked him about the Noah event, when God spoke to Noah and told him to prepare. Mr. Ben Davidson's response was, a superflare rapidly melted polar ice. That is Ben Davidson's explanation for the Noah event. Nothing to do with God. A superflare rapidly melted polar ice was Ben Davidson's answer to that question. Next. Whenever somebody asks him a question in the comment section, and I've seen this numerous times, asking about the 9th planet or Planet X, Wormwood, Ben Davidson is adamant, without providing his reasoning, that this planet does not exist. There can be 1,000 comments. He will zero in on anything that has to do with Revelation and say it does not exist, despite all the recent news articles coming out about the 9th planet actually found in the outer limits of our solar system, and the other news items about the other large planetary bodies or suns coming in. Any opportunity this man has to discredit the Almighty, he seizes upon it. Next, I ask you this question. If he is so adamant about an end of the civilization event, his micronova crustal slip theory. And in fact, today he stated, to restart a new age on Earth. Why? And someone asked him a question once, why he relocated his family to another state, and he said to put his kids into a better public school. Now, some of his kids are not of age yet. Now, according to Mr. Ben Davidson's timeline, mid to late 2030s to 2040s is the event. An end of civilization event. Why would you put your children in a public school to be taught something that's not going to help them not one damn bit? Why would you not homeschool your children and then teach them the more important life skills to help themselves and their family during an end of civilization event that he plans on staying here on planet Earth? And of course, that end of civilization event is, of course, Revelation 16:18, the great earthquake. Next. Please give me the links to Ben Davidson's peer-reviewed papers and the names and the credentials of any co-authors and the institution or government agency or whoever who did the peer review on his papers relating to the subject matter in which he reports on. Solar physics, astrophysics. I'm not talking about bachelors in economics. I'm not talking about whatever law work he did. I'm not talking about being a golf champion, because that's the only thing listed that he has posted on the internet, aside from stating that he is a independent researcher. So am I. And give me the links of these papers, please. Now, Mr. Ben Davidson states that he spends 3 hours every night reading journals to put together his morning videos. His morning videos are 3 minutes long, give or take a few seconds. The first 60 to 90 seconds of these videos has nothing to do with any peer-reviewed papers that he read. It's about the status of the sun, which you and me can find out on the internet. Now, for someone who's supposed to be a speed reader, so to me and you, that's like 6 to 12 hours worth of reading to put together a 60 to 90 second video quoting somebody else's work. Do you really believe that? He speed reads 3 hours every night, journals, to put together a 60 to 90 second worth of information which is not his. My daughter was speed reading in grade 1, not only speed reading, but she absorbed everything she was reading, so she's at the same level, or was at the same level as Mr. Ben Davidson, before Ben Davidson started. So, now, this is all about his galactic current sheet, supernova, micronova, and crustal displacement, leaving out a whole lot of other things that are going to happen before then, relating to the excursion, which he does not get into, rarely. And of course, because he deflects and denies his doing, and he plans on keeping him and his family here after the end times. Of course, he's not going to cover the earth changes expected leading up to the end of Revelation, the earthquakes in diverse places, the pestilence, the famines, the signs from above. Don't you find all this highly suspicious? And like I said, today, this evening, he once again denied that God had anything to do with the Noah flood. False prophet. And yet, by another one, you're being played. All 680,000 of you? So, continue to follow me if you want for wisdom and being able to sniff out con men. Or unsubscribe. It doesn't really matter to me, right? I said in the very beginning, I bring to you my observations and what I find. On top of that, my summations. And this is what I've been seeing. He gives you absolutely nothing whatsoever to prepare you and your family for the difficult times ahead before any end time event. It doesn't matter what that event is. It doesn't matter whether it's a crustal displacement or a full axial tilt of the planet. But to deny biblical history and to deny what is being reported currently, then you're also denying him.